Welcome to Double D-Fense. I'm Liz.
And I'm Christine.
We're bringing you an all-female perspective on the NHL,
plus the PWHL, college hockey, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Christine.
Hello.
Hi.
Long time no see. I just saw you last night in person.
We've gotten to spend a lot of time actually in person.
It was nice. Happy birthday weekend as we're kind of winding that down. So I hope you enjoyed it all.
Thank you. You only turned 29 once, so it was an absolute blast. No, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate everything. And thank you to everybody who took the time to wish me happy birthday on our Instagram, which I really do appreciate. Thank you guys very, very much.
It was fun. I even got you a win.
And I know, which I was very surprised by. I come from behind New York Rangers win the day after my birthday. I will take it. Absolutely. But we have so much to talk about. And I feel like this is an important episode. We're recording this on Sunday, March 1st. We have 5 more days until the trade deadline. And everything and nothing has been happening. So we're paying very close attention to the news feeds, lots of rumors flying back and forth. We're going to spend this episode talking about what has transpired in the last week, what may be to transpire, not just for the Rangers, but for a lot of other teams, because this is when the season gets very juicy.
I know, right? And it's kind of surprising that things aren't happening. So, is it concerning? I don't know. I mean, I think everyone just waits till the last minute and it's just a flurry of stuff. Some of these teams like to get their ways set so they can just move on. Because again, we've talked about this before, the tensions in the locker room or pre-game when you're trying to do your job, but yet the air is thick and full of when am I getting traded? Where am I going? I mean, these guys know. I mean, so when you're talking about like Trocheck, he knows where he's going. He's wheeling, dealing with his agent behind the scenes. They got to keep everything kind of quiet till it's all a done deal. They do a good job, thanks to like their agents, their PR, and and the team and everything. But things are gonna happen, and we just kind of want it to be over with. I think this is the week where you just want it all to be done and over with, so that we can focus on the games, focus on the run to the playoffs. And enjoy the chaos of it all, and see who makes it. And we've got about 30 some odd games left with the teams, and we have to see what's going to be left of ours on Friday.
Absolutely, and something that we're going to dive into more in this episode is, are teams changing their strategy now that half the players came back from the Olympics injured? So all of a sudden, now you have a lot of teams who are playoff contenders who are now dealing with, major stars being out or needing surgery. So does that affect their plans going forward? So the Olympics really threw quite the wrench into the season. I mean, it already had from the very fast-paced first half of the season schedule leading up to the Olympics. We saw a lot of injuries, not just on the Rangers, but throughout the NHL because of that accelerated schedule. And then we had a couple of people go down in a big way, including some superstars during the Olympics. So that'll be interesting to watch as well.
Like the ones that were taken out by Tom Wilson. Thanks, Kevin Fiala is a person. Yeah. And this week, kind of, what we're seeing, Crosby isn't coming back. He's expected to miss a couple weeks, maybe come back sooner. Mika Rantanen is another one. And the women, let's not forget the women. I'm seeing it more so. Literally in one day, it was one post after the other where it was Hillary Knight. It was Kendall Coyne Schofield. It was Erin Ambrose, and also Marie Philippe-Poulin, who was injured during the games, played and then came back, and now like they're a game in or a week back, and now they're out injured. So you really do see the toll of how much energy and physical the physicality of the game was for these guys. And we were kind of just talking about it before we came on. It's like, it'll be interesting to see as people are pushing to either give themselves value before a trade or to kind of help get into those playoff spots. We have a lot of wild card spots, a lot of close games right now. And is that toll of the Olympics going to start taking effect on some of these guys? They were dropping like flies. That was the comment. They're just going down one after the other.
They were, and I think it's a real testament to how hard they played. I mean, I'll be honest, I keep seeing Jack Hughes's face, missing teeth everywhere. Every time I turn on the TV or open my Twitter, it's just his face without his front teeth, which I have to not be looking at that anymore because it's pretty horrific. But I mean, they did go hard, and I have to give them credit for it. Even with the post-game celebration, I think I saw footage of JT Miller crowd surfing in Miami at a club. So even he went hard then.
I couldn't blame that lower body injury.
Could you imagine? That was a little risky move that, as a Ranger fan, I'm not a huge fan of. I get it. Go out and celebrate, but are you going to do something stupid that will now jeopardize? I mean, we know the Rangers aren't making the playoffs this year. That's fine, but still, don't go do that. It was a little much, and we'll talk about some other aspects of the Olympics that have been quite controversial this week too. But there is big news, especially around the Kings. So you mentioned that Fiala is out now for the season. He had season-ending surgery thanks to the collision with Tom Wilson during the Olympics. Obviously, their acquisition of Panarin probably came at a good time for them. But all of a sudden, they now have this other hurdle, and they just the big news this week. Do you want to go for it, Christine?
Yeah, breaking news as of today was that they had fired Hiller today, and now have put in Smith, to kind of lead the team through the remainder of the season. They've also promoted Matt Green, who's a former NHL player and development coach, up to assistant coach. So I don't think it's really what they wanted or were looking for to really get these guys into that playoff spot. So as of Thursday, when I went to the game, so it was their first game back from the Olympic break. It was Panarin's first game. At that point, they were 3 points out of the wild card spot. And I went with my son. So it was and it was a great start, to the game. The first goal, Panarin assisted. He came close to scoring at that game too. That would have been great because, there was a lot of firsts in that whole game. He looked great doing what he was doing, but they couldn't pull it off. In fact, and we highlighted on our story, they mixed the lines up, and you had Kempe, you had Panarin, and you had Kopitar on the same line, and made a beautiful, two-pass, shoot, and score goal. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful goal and a setup. And we were observing that. We were talking about it. They were never put on that same line again. And it was a productive moment. So, and that's kind of where I think in talking with Matthew, who of course is a huge Kings fan, and some of the other fans there, and their disappointment is this coach didn't have any consistency. Sound familiar? With keeping the lines that are working out there and producing, so with Kopitar retiring this year, they really want to push things, at him as far as he can go. Plus it benefits us, right? Although people are like, it's not gonna do any good, because we had that draft pick that is conditional on how far the Kings go in the playoffs. So we'll see with on the West Coast what happens.
And let me ask you, Christine. So you were at Panarin's first game at Crypto.com Arena as an LA King. What was that like, being a Ranger fan and being there and seeing that in person?
So I went wearing my Ranger jersey. So
your Panarin jersey.
Yeah, my Panarin jersey, of course. It's funny. It was actually a great game. We got there as soon as the doors opened so we could get into the store and get this jersey, which, if you're listening, I'm pointing to my newly acquired Panarin Kings jersey. If you can see us, I'm pointing at it. It's behind me. And it was fun. There were already the people wearing his jersey, so already big fans in LA, and they had a sign. So everyone was going down to the practice, and apparently he is who he is. He's one of the nicest guys you can ever meet, and very much, loving all his fans. So, and it was cute. The story was that he was signing at number 10. He's no longer number 10. The other big news too is that, and we were talking about this on earlier episodes, the mascot had already acquired number 72 for the reasons of it being the average temperature in LA, which is a lie because it's freaking 1,000 degrees here right now. And it needs to be cool. I'll take 72 any day. And it was cute. The promos were that Panarin bought Bailey a Rolex watch, and they agreed to share the number. And so it was super fun. Was there for warm-ups. He came out very well, very well receptive, with everybody. He looked at home with everybody, and he was smiling. He looked happy, and he also did his signature move. He was the last one off the ice. Skated, did his skate and run into the locker room. So none of that changed. I like that. We saw that with Kreider too. It's like when you develop a ritual or some kind of bonding experience that is fun for the fans and the team, and you don't lose it, you keep it. I know Kreider modified it to make it more fun with the Ducks. We saw that with Panarin. Again, it was fun, right? We got a chance to see him get a couple of points. He got his first penalty. And the team fell short, and they lost to the Vegas Golden Knights, who we saw. And then they were just kind of going downhill from there. They played a couple games since the Olympics returned. And of course, I think it led to this overdue change of the coach. So we'll keep an eye and see what happens. We're kind of on a watch for seeing how Panarin's going to do and how he can help push. He's doing his job. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. He's doing exactly what he was brought there to do. He's doing exactly what he's known for doing, and he's doing it well. He's getting the points and the assists, and he'll hopefully have a chance to score soon. And he's doing well, and he'll continue to do so. So we'll keep an eye on that for everybody, because now that they're in the close proximity to us, it's more fun to kind of root for the local teams. I can't wait till next season when we can go to a Kings Ducks matchup and wear our original Rangers jersey. It was the one time I could wear a Ranger jersey, and people were like, "Thank you so much!" Like they were so happy, and it was so fun to be there wearing that jersey.
Well, it has been so fun to watch these guys all come to the West Coast and absolutely thrive. And the Ducks played a game the other night. I think it was against the Oilers, where the Ducks were down 4-2, and then Trouba scored one of the goals, and then Kreider scored the game-winning goal. And it was absolutely wonderful to see. And the Ducks have been looking really good. We're just looking at the standings to see actually where the LA Kings are. The Ducks have moved into second place in the Pacific. So in the Pacific, there's Vegas Golden Knights in first, the Ducks in second, the Oilers in third. You have Utah and Seattle in the two wild card spots, and then Nashville, LA, and San Jose all in very close proximity to each other for that last wild card spot. So it's getting very tight in the West. So this is going to start getting really, really interesting.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
That was a birthday goal for you, by the way, too. That was on your birthday.
It was.
When he did that.
I was imagining he absolutely knew and did it just for me. Absolutely. But it is a nice consolation. Obviously, as Ranger fans, we do keep an eye on where they are, and they are at the very bottom of the Eastern Conference. I think they're last in the league, only second to the Vancouver Canucks, who somehow have been more terrible than the Rangers have been this year. But the Rangers did get a win at home the other day, which was nice and surprising. They overcame an 0-2 deficit to come back and win the game, which was great. So there's moments of hope. There's moments of hope. Maybe not for this season, but they're hanging in.
Hey, we just need 20 points. If everybody loses and we win, we could be in it. No, just kidding. The good news is that we did see the return of Adam Fox and Shesterkin. And Shesterkin played an amazing game yesterday because it went into a shootout and we won. And he just made some amazing plays. So
what do you think of Adam Fox's kind of cryptic comments that he made to the media the other day. So if you guys haven't followed that story, Adam Fox was interviewed about. It was a post-game interview and was asked about his future with the Rangers, and he was very evasive about answering. He said something along the lines of he's just concentrating right now on him playing the game, and that was it. And then Mike Sullivan in his post-game, not this last game, but the game before, made some like also a little bit of odd comments about Shesterkin and Fox, about how both of them had come back from injury and he had been hoping for more. Like it was a weird comment for a coach to make, especially like given where they're at. I don't know if there's bad blood. I have been seeing a lot of people analyzing the game when they came back from the Olympics and did the big like Olympic presentation ceremony, and the players were out on the ice and people's names were called. So they call Shesterkin, I'm not Shesterkin, I'm sorry, Sullivan, and who clapped and who stick tapped for who. Obviously, nobody supported Drury. The whole crowd was booing. They had to actually move off of him very quickly. The whole crowd booed, and the players didn't stick tap. But Fox did not stick tap for Mike Sullivan, which was interesting. So there may be something there. There might not be. But given where the Rangers are this season, it might be understandable that there's a little bit of animosity happening in that locker room.
I don't know if it's animosity. They're gonna try to get through this season with whatever dignity they might have left, I think. And if someone like Fox is a little frustrated, and it could be ice time, it could be who's on the line. It could be different things. He's just coming back from injury. They are playing. And to his comment about where things stand, like this is just the press pushing people, I think. I mean, they pushed Shesterkin too, and he's like, I'm not reading that letter. I don't speak English. Perfect. I love him for that. It's like, why are they even focusing on Fox? He has a no trade, no move clause, right? So he's not one of our concerns. These are the guys that are going to have to kind of pick up the pieces and figure out where they're going to be. And it's going to really have an effect next year on him. Right. And that's an interesting thing, because if you watch the game on ABC yesterday, and then you had those guys just, giving all their opinions, especially about the retool, they were it's a long-term thing. And if you really are doing a whole retool, we're not looking to see anything good out of this team for several years. And we don't even want to hear that. And that's a genuine comment, to say. And I think where Fox is like, am I going to want to be on this team for the long haul? If it's even an option. I mean, who knows? They could say the same thing to him, when his contract changes next year, as they did for Panarin. Yeah, we like you. You're probably the best on the team. Yeah, we're not going to renew you. When it comes, like, it's who knows what's going to happen. I don't, me, I don't play too much into any of the rumors. And unlike other teams and stuff, I think they do give conservative responses to the press as the press tries to push the buttons of this team. So I don't really take it with too much of a grant. I think what he said was kind of accurate. He's like, let's see what happens. I mean, can you imagine being on a team that you're kind of stuck in because you have a contract, and then Drury screws it up even more than so? And like, are you going to want to stay there, or are you going to want to go and off to the happy land, candy land that everyone else is enjoying their lives with, that we're watching? I mean, they, again, as a business, it's a twofold thing. I always talk a lot about the teams having the players, their commodities in the business sense. They got to make the right trades that give the team the best interest, for the value of the cap and the money and the fan, the bigger picture. But at the same time, those players have control as well to where they want to go, what they want to, do, and how they want to, live out their career too. And some of these guys are playing it right. Some of them, some of you don't have as much choice for things, but when you get to be seasoned like Panarin, you get a chance to go to where you want to go. I think, and that's where they get leverage.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, Every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. I've been looking at the NHL Championship betting odds. The Avalanche are still plus 350. They're the number one pick to win the Stanley Cup this year. We have a lot of teams down at the bottom, including our New York Rangers, unfortunately, and the Chicago Blackhawks and the Calgary Flames. But I guess anything can happen. So this is the time to place your bets. New customers bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code XXX. That's code XXX to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL. All rights reserved.
We have like to watch, the biggest news is where's Trocheck going to go and when? I mean, because, they are still sticking with the rumors of Minnesota being a hot contender with, other teams in discussions as well. I think the bigger question isn't where, because is when, when are we going to see this? Are we going to see a flurry of trades happening Wednesday night with a 48-hour rush for things potentially? I mean, since we're not seeing a lot right now, again, over the weekend, I'm seeing today, there's a lot of guys that went on waivers from several teams. You guys can look those up. And we'll see if those guys are getting picked up from many of the teams. We're going to be following it this week outside of this and after this, and then we'll kind of report back on the next podcast as to where we are and what big things happened and what maybe didn't happen. All you got to do is sit and wait. So just grab the popcorn, grab your drinks, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The show is about to begin.
Yeah, the NHL reality show is quite juicy this year, for sure. I think we're going to see some very, very interesting stuff. And then not to mention the controversies that have surrounded the NHL since the Olympics. We do want to touch on that, especially because Connor Storrie from Heated Rivalry hosted Saturday Night Live yesterday. If you didn't see it, which I didn't, I mean, that I did after I wound up falling asleep.
Yeah, I know. She kind of was falling asleep. And I know I screamed really loud because I wasn't expecting it, because we turned it on and I wasn't. And so the minute that those women popped up, I was like, I screamed. I know it probably scared you a little bit, and you're kind of half dozing in and dozing out. We had fun last night. So continue on that one. It was really good.
So Connor Storrie, I personally think he's now managed to bring the country together, which is not something I had on my bingo card for Connor Storrie to be the one to do this year, but here we are. So Connor did host SNL, and his opening monologue, he introduced the men's U.S. gold team. He brought on the Hughes brothers. So we had Jack Hughes with his big missing teeth gap. And his lisp. And his lisp, and Quinn Hughes. And then the extra special piece was bringing on the women's team as well. And I love the comment where I think he was like, well, we have to invite, we also had to invite the boys. Or maybe Hillary Knight was the one who said that they have to invite the men's team. It was a really perfect kind of call out and shout out to everything that has transpired. And if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, you probably already know this, but This is based on the phone call that happened from the USA men's locker room from Trump, where he made kind of a disparaging remark about having to invite the gold medal winning women's team to the White House. And then all the men who were in the room basically laughed in the moment. So it has been a very controversial moment. A lot of the players have been asked about it by the press. I don't think anyone has had a good response every single time that it's been asked. They've sort of skated over the question, no pun intended, but they really were evasive about it. So it was not a great look for the men's gold medal team, I have to say. It really diminished what the women had accomplished, which is really unfortunate in this day and age with a professional women's hockey league, that would even be a question. And I would say the Connor Storrie bringing both, and the producers of SNL, bringing both the men and women together, gave the men such good, kind of just very good vibes. That was a great opportunity for the men to smooth things over, demonstrate that they supported the women because everybody was there together. The men are very, very lucky to have had that opportunity by Connor Storrie and SNL. So I do think that Connor is somewhat responsible for helping, I guess, bridge the gap that had been created by Trump and the men's team.
Yeah, I'm going to add in a couple things and propping up our wonderful women that along the way. It's only been a week. If you have to think about it, it has been a whole week. It hasn't been a month or a year. It's been one whole week. So a lot has happened in the week,
Hasn't it?
So yes, everyone's got different opinions and different views. You have two strong, smart women here too that kind of tried to go through it all, and it does blow over. And one thing that, in my opinion, I see is the people, the guys on the team, the women on the team have good relationships. So whatever this was, caught up in the moment thing, whatever it was, it happened. It wasn't a good thing. And what I loved is Hillary Knight came out and spoke very eloquently about it. And basically what she said was brilliant. She's like, look, I'm put on the stage and I'm being asked about someone else's behavior. It's not my responsibility to do that. We did a great job. We're acknowledging our own selves and our actions, and that's it. And and I have seen a lot of people, a lot of these guys have started to come out and try to apologize. It's not hard to do that. You don't need to do it with a smirk on your face. You just need to do it. And you're right. Saturday Night Live wrote this very well. I saw something like, SNL, you had one job and you did it perfectly. Again, bringing them out and letting the women kind of own the moment in a way that they deserved. That was it. And what you saw then was the support. And if you kind of watched, a lot of people like to go into further and kind of watch the facial expressions, the hugs and everything. You can see that the guys and the women have a good relationship. If all of this was aside, I don't think it's an issue with any of them. They both did very well. Again, I like the little, not the dig, but the facts, hey, the men did this the first time in 46 years. And then she was like, hey, we did this 2 Olympics ago, so, okay, and to the person who on social media, it was challenging me thinking I didn't watch either one of these games, who I called an idiot straight out. Maybe get your facts straight too. Like, he doesn't know what I do and what I talk about. And that was kind of funny. So, so props to that. It is March. It is Women's History Month too. So look for more things on our social media about propping up these amazing women and their accomplishments too. So you're going to see a lot of that from the teams. I know that our local team, Ontario Reign, is having a Women's Day game today. You're going to see that. So prop out the women in your lives, and tell them how thankful you are, for them being around. It's a perfect opportunity, to acknowledge, any woman in your life. That's amazing, because they all are, so do that. A great episode. They came out at the end too. And here's the thing: somebody had wrote on Threads, Like, well, I don't know why the women needed to put their, their team jerseys on. I'm like, they didn't need to do anything. They're smart. They're going to prop up their own teams. They came out in the beginning of the show wearing, uniformly wearing their USA jerseys, and the women showed up at the end of the night wearing their respective team jerseys, as they should. They are proud members of the team, as well as, the Olympic U.S. hockey team. So that was really fun, and kind of and a great way to do it. SNL was perfect in doing that. So love to see it. Also kind of go back to the Kings games. We are seeing all of these people, men and women on both sides, being honored by their teams with their first home games back to play. And it is very exciting. When I was at the Kings game, a lot of there are a lot of USA jerseys I can't see, as I'm getting older. So I'm like, there's people in Rangers jerseys.
Well, the USA jerseys happen to look very much like Ranger jerseys.
Nope, it was just me. I think I did see one other person holding up a Rangers jersey during warm-ups, but I'm like, no, I think that's a jersey. And my son's like, no. So a lot of USA jerseys, a lot of people that were there and proud, to honor and welcome home their team players for all the different countries that they play for. So it is really exciting. If you're watching the games and the teams are playing home, you should see that. And it's nice to see that they're all doing that too. So again, part of this 1 week in return. Again, now the shift is going to focus over to whose game's the last game, who's going to go to a new home by Friday, and chaos will ensue again, So and one of the other things with the Olympics, and we'll talk about it because we were talking about it. I think it's more discussions involved because it was coming up on questions with some of our friends and fans online, was the 3-on-3 overtime. Both the women and the men's team ended in 3-on-3 overtime, with the U.S. team on both sides prevailing. Anybody's game, and a lot of people, I really don't think anybody liked it. So we'll research that more, which will be kind of fun because we do see different rules along, outside the NHL, PWHL, and European Hockey League. And it'll be fun to kind of compare some and kind of do a little, point counterpoint, on the benefits and disadvantages of that too, since it was a big topic and it kind of still is, it's lingering. So an interesting topic that we can kind of delve into a little further. I like that.
At least it wasn't a shootout. So that already is a step. It already is a step in the right direction. Yeah, 3-on-3 is interesting, and we can debate it a little bit. I think I'd be very curious to hear, your thoughts, but also if you guys are listening and you have thoughts, please let us know, because we would love to really do a deep dive on this in a future episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the women's team did win in, I think it was 2018 in a shootout. So the Olympics adopted the 3-on-3 overtime in 2019 after that. And we'll go into reasons, too, because I think after someone had decided it on a shootout, they were like, man, that's probably not a good idea. So now they have this. So, how many times will it take before they maybe change it up? Yeah. So a lot of this is just kind of lingering conversations we've heard about this week, as rumors are, like rumors are starting to fly up. The Olympic aftermath is starting to quiet down a little bit here and there. There's boos, there's cheers, and someone's going to get a little nudge here and there until it's all settled, and then everyone's going to be back in play and fighting for those spots. It's going to come up very quickly. This is my favorite. This is my favorite part of the season.
And this is just a huge week with the trade deadline being only a couple of days away. So keep watching this space. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back with more NHL news, PWHL news as we get closer to that deadline. And have a great week, everyone.